Hello class and welcome to Citizenship 2, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 8:30. Welcome back. Today we are going to look at Chapter 5 in our Citizenship book, page 71, okay? Our white Citizenship book, page 71, Chapter 5, the Civil War, and then we will finish the marital status and family worksheets. Okay, we'll look at marital status and family worksheets, and then we will review civics questions for the test. Okay, so first we will look at Chapter 5 on page 71 about the Civil War. Okay, remember, Civil War means fight. Civil war means fight between people in the same country. Okay, so we will look at Chapter 5 and then we will review family and marital status worksheets, and then we will practice civics questions that will be on the test. Okay, thank you class. Let's get started. Okay, Chapter 5, Civil War. Please open your books, your white citizenship books, to page 71, and we will begin. Okay, page 71, Chapter 5, Civil War. Okay, let's look at Chapter 5, Civil War. Okay, so first we have the Civil War. Okay, the United States grew quickly. Okay, after we got the 13 original colonies, and those 13 original colonies became states, we grew quickly. We got very big. Okay, so if you remember from last time, we looked at the original 13 colonies and how they became 13 new states. Do you remember 3 new states? Delaware, New Hampshire, New Jersey. Okay, 3 original colonies became 3 new states, and then after we had the Civil War. Okay, so the United States grew quickly. Okay, and the United States got new lands from other countries. So which land did they get from other countries? Let's see. For example, the United States bought the Louisiana Territory from France in 1803. Okay, so can you say Louisiana Territory? Louisiana Territory. Okay, so the United States got new lands. One new state was Louisiana Territory. Okay, they bought this territory from France. If you look in your book on page 71, you can see other states the United States bought to make the U.S. bigger. There is Texas, okay, Texas. There is Florida, There is Washington. Washington. Okay. So a lot of states in the United States were territories bought from other countries. Okay. After the other territories were bought, okay, when you buy something in the present. I am going to buy oranges at the store, present tense. I bought oranges at the store yesterday, past tense. Okay, so in 1803, the United States bought the Louisiana Territory from France. Okay. And what does grew mean? Grew. Okay. Got bigger. Again, grew is past tense. Remember, you have past and present. So, the past tense is grew. Do you know the present tense of grew? Do you know the present tense? It is grow. Grow. Okay? When you have a tree, okay, at first it is small, then it grows bigger. Okay? A tree grows big. Okay? Children grow taller. Children grow, okay, grow taller. So you have grow, present tense, grew, past tense. And then we have France. France. So France is a country in Europe. The United States is a country in North America. So we bought the Louisiana Territory from France, a country in Europe. Do you remember where the Statue of Liberty comes from? Do you remember where the Statue of Liberty comes from? Yes, it came from France. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. Okay? Now, here is a question. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? Louisiana. Louisiana territory, okay? If you look in your book on page 71, you can also see Florida, okay, Florida. Where did Florida come from? Where did Florida come from? Spain. The United States bought Florida territory from Spain in 1819. Okay? The United States bought the Florida territory from Spain in 1819. Very good. Okay, page 72. Page 72. For many years, slaves worked on American farms and in homes. For many years, slaves worked on American farms and in homes. In the 1860s, Americans in the North said people should not be slaves. Okay? In the 1860s, Americans in the North said people should not be slaves. They wanted to end slavery in the United States. They wanted to end slavery in the United States, okay? The North. So what does slavery mean? What does slavery mean? Slavery means owning slaves, okay? Owning slaves. The North said people should not be slaves. They wanted to end slavery in the United States. Now let's look. How did the Civil War begin? Okay, how did the Civil War begin? Page 73. But Americans in the South did not want to free their slaves. So the North, people in the North wanted the slaves to be free. Americans in the South did not want to free their slaves. Okay, they did not want to free their slaves. So Americans in the North wanted to end slavery. Americans in the South did not want to end slavery. They wanted to continue owning slaves. The problem of slavery led to the Civil War. Okay? The problem of slavery led to the Civil War. So there was a fight inside the country between the North and the South. Okay? Now, what does free mean? To free something, okay? To set something free, okay? Free means let go of, okay? Let go of. Led to, what does it mean? The problem of slavery led to the Civil War. Led to means was a reason for, okay? So, what led to the Civil War? Why did the Civil War begin? The Civil War began because the North wanted to end slavery and the South did not want to end slavery. So again, led to was a reason for, okay? So what led to the Civil War? Why did the Civil War begin? Because the North wanted to end slavery and the South wanted to continue. All right. Question. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. The Civil War. The Civil War. Name one problem that led to the Civil War. Name one problem that led to the Civil War. Slavery. Slavery led, the problem of slavery led, okay, or was the reason for, because of slavery, the Civil War, okay? Okay, let's look at page 74 in your citizenship book, chapter 5, page 74. For many years, slaves worked on American farms and in homes. Okay. For many years, slaves worked on American farms and in homes. What did the slaves do on the farms? What did the slaves do on American farms? Well, they helped harvest crops, okay? They helped pick vegetables and fruit and cotton, okay? They helped the Americans on their farms, okay? They worked on American farms. What is a farm? A farm is a place in the country where you grow food and raise animals, okay? For example, on an American farm, you might see fruits and vegetables growing, corn and wheat and soy, also animals like cows, chickens, pigs, okay? So this is what the slaves did on American farms. They worked to make sure the fruits and vegetables and cotton and soy and wheat were ready to eat. And they worked in American homes. So can you tell me, what would you do in a home? What kind of work do you do inside your house? Okay. What kind of work do you do inside your house? Well, you cook, clean, okay? You cook food, you clean, wash clothes, right? So this is what the slaves did. They worked on American farms to make sure the food was growing and ready to eat. And they worked in American homes, cooking and cleaning, okay? In the 1860s, Americans in the North said people should not be slaves, okay? Remember, the North wanted to end slavery in the United States. The North. If you look at the picture on page 74, you can see two people fighting, okay? One person is from the North and the other person is from the South. One person wanted to end slavery and one person wanted to continue slavery, okay? Continue means not ending, not finished, okay? Continue, not finished, okay? So the people in the South, the Americans in the South, wanted to continue slavery, owning slaves, having slaves work in their houses, in their homes, and on their farms, okay? The North, the Americans in the North, did not want to continue. They wanted to end slavery, okay? They did not want people to have to work on their farms and in their homes, okay? They wanted to give the people their freedom, okay? So, in the 1860s, Americans in the North said people should not be slaves. They wanted to end slavery in the United States. Okay. What does slavery mean? Slavery. Owning slaves. Okay. Page 74. States in the South tried to leave the United States. Okay. States in the South tried to leave the United States. They wanted to become a new country. The Civil War was a terrible fight between the North and the South. The Civil War was a terrible fight between the North and the South. Remember, because the North wanted to end slavery and the South wanted to keep it, continue. So there was a civil war, a fight. Terrible, terrible. Terrible means very bad, okay? Very bad. For example, we went to the restaurant. The food was terrible. Okay, we went to the restaurant. The food was terrible. Very bad. Okay, for example. Here is the picture of two men fighting, okay, on page 74. Two men fighting for slavery to end and slavery to continue. Okay. Do you recognize this person on page 75? Page 75. The man in the picture. Who is he? Who is the man in the picture? Abraham Lincoln. Yes, you are correct. Abraham Lincoln. And what did Abraham Lincoln do? Okay, we will learn what Abraham Lincoln did. Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. Do you remember who the first president was? Yes, George Washington. Well, Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War. He was our 16th president. He wanted to keep the North and South together. So he wanted to keep the North and South together, okay, during the Civil War, okay. During the Civil War, Lincoln was president, okay. He wanted to keep the North and South together. So what does during mean? During. At the time of, okay. At the time of. Example, what do you do during class? What do you do during class? You study English and civics information, okay? You study English and you study information to pass your citizenship interview and test to become a U.S. citizen. Can you say Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln, okay. 16th president during the Civil War. At the time of, okay. Can you think of another example with during, okay. During class, we learn English, okay. During dinner, we talk about our day, okay. During break time in class, we talk to each other. We eat a snack, okay. During. Okay. So what happened during Lincoln's time as president? What happened during the time Abraham Lincoln was president. What did he do? Okay. What is he famous for? Remember, famous, important. Okay, so what did Abraham Lincoln do during his time as president? He signed a paper called the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, everyone repeat. Emancipation Proclamation. So Abraham Lincoln, signed a paper called the Emancipation Proclamation. The paper said, "The slaves are free. The slaves are free." He used his power as president to make a proclamation. The slaves are free. Okay? The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. What does signed mean? Signed. What does signed mean? Put his name on. So he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He put his name on the paper. Okay. What does freed mean? Freed. Freed means he made them free. Okay. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. This was very, very important for the United States. And what does emancipation mean? Emancipation. Emancipation means freedom. Freedom. And what does proclamation mean? Proclamation. A proclamation is a paper for everyone to read. Okay? A proclamation is a paper for everyone to read. So let's review. What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did during his presidency? What is one important thing Abraham Lincoln did during his presidency? Yes, he freed the slaves, okay? He wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, signed the paper, and said the slaves are free. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? Freed the slaves. Freed the slaves. Okay? The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. Okay. Page 77. 77 in your book, in the Citizenship book. Okay. The North won the war in 1865. The North won the war in 1865. The United States stayed together. The United States stayed together because the North won the war in 1865. So that was good. That was a good thing that happened. Okay. But then an angry man killed Lincoln at the end of the war. Okay. An angry man killed Lincoln at the end of the war. But Americans will never forget Lincoln. Okay. Americans remember Lincoln because he helped the United States at a hard time. Hard means difficult, not easy. Okay? We celebrate Lincoln's birthday with Washington's birthday. We celebrate Lincoln's birthday with Washington's birthday. The holiday is called President's Day. President's Day. President's Day is in February. Remember, we just had a holiday, President's Day, in February. Okay? So, on President's Day, we celebrate Washington and Abraham Lincoln. It is a national United States holiday, President's Day. Lincoln and Washington birthday, President's Day in February. Let's look at a famous person during this time. A famous person during this time. Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was a woman who worked to end slavery. Susan B. Anthony was a woman who worked to end slavery. She worked for women's rights, okay? She wanted women to have the same rights as men. She is a famous American. Remember, what does famous mean? Famous means important. So let's look at the question. What did Susan B. Anthony do? What did Susan B. Anthony do? She worked for women's rights. If you look at the picture on page 79, if you look at the picture on page 79, you can see Susan B. Anthony, and women in the background, okay? She worked for women's rights, so she was trying to help the women have the same rights as men. The same rights as men. Okay, let's look at test hint number 5 on page 84. Page 84. Test hint number 5. Page 84. Okay. Test hint number 5. Page 84. Okay. The writing test. So remember, during the citizenship interview and test, you have speaking, listening, reading, and writing, okay? Here is the writing test practice. Okay. The examiner will read a sentence to you, okay? The examiner will read a sentence to you. Say the sentence slowly to yourself. Say the sentence slowly to yourself. Then write the words that you hear, okay? So write the words that you hear. You don't have to write the sentence perfectly, okay? You do not have to write the sentence perfectly. If most of the sentence is okay, you can pass the writing test, okay? If most of the sentence is okay, you can pass the writing test. Okay, here are some more hints, okay? Test hint number 5. What will you do if you can't spell a word, okay? In each chapter of the book, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we practice spelling. We practice spelling words, okay? But if you cannot spell a word, try to write most of the letters, okay? Try to write most of the letters in the word, even if it's not correct, okay? Even if it's not correct, write most of the letters in the word, okay? For example, how do you spell territory, okay? How do you spell territory? T-E-R-R-I-T-O-R-Y, territory. If you spell territory, T-E-R-I-T-R-Y, you spelled most of the letters, okay? T-E-R-R-I-T-O-R-Y. 9 letters in the word territory. You spell territory T-E-R-I-T-R-Y. That is 7 letters that you spelled. That is most of the letters. There are 9 letters in the word territory. You used 7. You spelled most of the word. That is okay. What if you don't understand the sentence? Okay? What if you don't understand the sentence? Well, you can ask the examiner to repeat the sentence. You can ask the examiner to repeat the sentence. Excuse me, could you repeat that, please? Excuse me, I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that, please? Okay, remember, how do you ask someone to repeat something when you don't understand? Excuse me, could you repeat that? Okay. Excuse me, I didn't hear you. Can you say it again? Okay. If you don't understand the sentence, you can ask the examiner to explain what it means. You can ask the examiner to explain what it means. Okay? For example, what does territory mean? Okay? What does territory mean? You can ask the examiner, what does territory mean? And they will tell you. Okay? Territory means land that is owned by someone or a country. Okay? Land, territory is an area, a part of land that belongs to a country. Okay? For example, what is name one U.S. territory. Name one U.S. territory. Guam. Guam is one U.S. territory, right? So territory is a piece of land owned by a country. Okay. So you can ask the examiner, what does it mean? Okay. You have 3 chances. You have 3 chances to write a sentence correctly. You only need to get one right, okay? If you still can't write the sentence, don't worry, okay? If you still can't write the sentence, don't get upset. Don't worry. The examiner will read you a different sentence, okay? The examiner will read you a different sentence. What if you can't write the second sentence? If you cannot write the first sentence or the second sentence, the examiner will give you a third sentence, okay? So you have 3 tries, 3 chances to get it correct. If you practice all of the sentences in this book, you can pass the writing test. So let's practice writing sentences in your notebook, okay? Let's practice. Practice. Please practice writing the following sentences in your notebook. 1. I have been a lawful permanent resident for over 5 years. The examiner will ask you to write a sentence. You listen to what the officer says. You listen to the sentence the officer says, and you write it down, okay? So let's practice writing these sentences. I have been a lawful permanent resident for over 5 years. I have lived at my current address for 5 years. I have lived at my current address for 5 years. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Please practice writing these sentences in your notebook. How do you spell permanent? Permanent. P-E-R-M-A-N-E-N-T. Permanent. How do you spell current? Current. C-U-R-R-E-N-T. Current. And how do you spell Constitution? Constitution. C-O-N-S-T-I-T-U-T-I-O-N. Constitution. Okay. All right, so please practice writing the following sentences in your notebook. I have been a lawful permanent resident for over 5 years. I have lived at my current address for 5 years. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay. Let's practice, let's also practice questions from chapter 5, okay? I am going to ask the question and I want to see if you know the answer, okay? I am going to ask you a question and I want to see if you know the answer, okay? Let's start. What does it mean? What does it mean? Okay? What does signed mean? Signed. put his name on, okay? Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He put his name on the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves. What does freed mean? Freed. What does freed mean? Freed means made people free, okay? Made people free. So, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. He made them free when he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, okay? What does led to mean? What does led to mean? Led to means was the reason for, okay? Was the reason for. So, led to means was the reason for. What does territory mean? What does territory mean? Okay. Territory means do you remember? Area of land. Area of land. What does the Civil War mean? What does the Civil War mean? The Civil War means a fight between the North and South. A fight between the North and South. And what does Emancipation Proclamation mean? What does Emancipation Proclamation mean? A paper that ended slavery. A paper that ended slavery. Okay, so let's review. What does signed mean? Signed means put his name on. Okay? Put his name on. What does freed mean? Freed. Freed means made people free. Okay? Made people free. What does led to mean? Led to. Led to means was the reason for. Problems with slavery led to the Civil War. Okay? What does territory mean? Territory. Territory means area of land. Area of land. And the Civil War What does the Civil War mean? A fight between the North and the South. What did the North want? What did the North want? To end slavery. What did the South want? What did the South want? To continue slavery. They did not want slavery to end. They did not want slavery to end. Okay, so let's look at this. You can see the words here. Okay. Signed, freed, led to. Okay. Territory. Civil War, and Emancipation Proclamation. Okay. Let's look at yes or no. I am going to ask you a question. I want you to say yes or no. Okay. The U.S. bought Louisiana from France. Yes or no? The United States bought Louisiana from France. Yes. Yes. The United States bought Louisiana from France. Louisiana was a territory, okay? United States territory. You can see on page 71, the first page of the chapter, the Louisiana territory was purchased from France in 1803. Okay, 1803. Okay. Number 2, the U.S. fought the Civil War in the 1900s. The United States fought the Civil War in the 1900s. No. The United States fought the Civil War in the 1800s. 1800s. Okay. Number 3, the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves. Yes. Yes, it did. It was a paper signed by Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves, ended slavery. Okay. Number 4, Susan B. Anthony signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Susan B. Anthony signed the Emancipation Proclamation. No. Okay. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Susan B. Anthony was famous for working on women's rights. Working on women's rights. Okay. Number 5. The problem of slavery led to the Civil War. Remember, led was the reason for. So, did the problem of slavery lead to the Civil War? Okay. Yes, it did. The problem of slavery led to the Civil War. was because of, was the reason for. Okay. Number 6, Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War. Remember, what does during mean? Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War. Yes, he was. Number 7, George Washington freed the slaves. George Washington freed the slaves. No, George Washington did not free the slaves. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Abraham Lincoln is famous for ending slavery. Number 8, Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony worked for women's rights. Susan B. Anthony worked for women's rights. Yes, she did. Susan B. Anthony was famous for working on women's rights. And last one, President's Day. President's Day is in October. President's Day is in October. Yes or no? No. President's Day is in February. Okay? We celebrate Washington and Lincoln's birthday in February on the national holiday called President's Day. Okay, let's practice spelling. Okay? I am going to say the word and I want you to practice spelling. Okay? Lincoln. How do you spell Lincoln? Lincoln. Lincoln. How do you spell February? February. February. Number 3. How do you spell Civil War? Civil. Civil War. How do you spell North? North. North. Okay, how do you spell during? During. During. And how do you spell South? South. 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 Okay, let's practice answering some questions, okay? When is President's Day? Let's use the words we just learned how to spell, okay? We just spelled, to answer these questions. President's Day is in February. The blank won the Civil War. Who won the Civil War? The North. Remember, when you ask a question with who, what, when, where, why, and how, okay? You are asking for more information, not a yes or no answer, more information. For example, who ended slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation? Who ended slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation? Answer: Abraham Lincoln. What? What led to the Civil War? What led to the Civil War? The problem of slavery. Okay, the problem of slavery led to the Civil War. When? When was the Civil War? When was the Civil War? The Civil War was in the 1800s. The Civil War was in the 1800s. Okay? Where? Where did the people live who wanted to continue slavery? Where did the people live who wanted to continue slavery? The people lived in the South. That is where they lived, in the South, okay? Because the Americans in the South did not want to end slavery, okay? Why? Why did Abraham Lincoln sign the Emancipation Proclamation? Why did Abraham Lincoln sign the Emancipation Proclamation? He wanted to end slavery, okay? Because he wanted to end slavery. How? How did the United States stay together? How did the United States stay together? Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and the North won the Civil War. Okay? Why or how did the United States stay together? Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and the North won the Civil War. Okay? Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will finish our worksheet on marital and family history. Okay? Thank you, class. Okay, class, welcome back. How are you doing? Okay. Let's look at family and marital status worksheets. Let's look at a story about Carlos and his wife. Carlos and his wife, okay? Carlos is talking about his wife, Maria. Here is what he says. Practice the sentences with your teacher, okay? Carlos is talking about his wife, Maria. Here is what he says. Practice the sentences with your teacher. Okay, class, I am going to read the sentence. Please repeat and follow along, okay? My name is Carlos Santos. My name is Carlos Santos. I'm married. I'm married. What is I'm? I am, okay? I am married. You are married. He or she is married. They are married. We are married, okay? I'm married. I am married. We got married on February 14, 1985. We got married on February 14, 1985. My name is Carlos Santos. I'm married. We got married on February 14, 1985. My wife's full name is Maria Elena Gomez. My wife's full name is Maria Elena Gomez. Okay. This is good practice because the officer will ask you questions about your current spouse. Remember, what does spouse mean? Spouse means your husband or wife. Current means right now, present. Okay, present. Her first name is Maria. Her first name is Maria. Her middle name is Elena. Her middle name is Elena. Her last name is Gomez. Her last name is Gomez. We live together in Texas. We live together in Texas. What is your spouse's first name? What is your spouse's first name? What is your spouse's middle name? What is your spouse's last name? What is your spouse's full name? Okay, first, middle, last. So what is his wife's first name? Maria. What is his wife's middle name? Elena. And what is his wife's last name? Gomez. So her full name is Maria Elena Gomez. Where do they live? Where do they live? Texas. What is their address? What is their address? Their address is 506 Wilbert Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75342. Our address is 506 Wilbert Drive, Dallas, Texas, 95342. When were they married? When were they married? Remember, more information. When were they married? On February 14, 1985. Okay, February 14, 1985. Her date of birth is April 7, 1960. Her date of birth is April 7, 1960. Okay? Her place of birth is Guadalajara, Mexico. Guadalajara, Mexico. Okay? Her place of birth is Guadalajara, Mexico. Maria is from Mexico. Maria is from Mexico. She is a Mexican citizen. Okay, remember, people from Mexico are called Mexican. People from Vietnam are called Vietnamese. Okay? So, her country of birth is Mexico. Her country of citizenship or nationality is Mexico. Her nationality is Mexican. She is a Mexican citizen. So, when the officer asks you, what is your spouse's place of birth? What is your spouse's country of birth, country of citizenship, or nationality? Okay? Who is the husband? What is the husband's name? Carlos. Okay? What is his wife's name? Elena. Where do they live? Texas. What is their zip code? Zip code. 75342. Okay. What is Maria's place of birth? Maria's place of birth. Guadalajara, Mexico. Guadalajara, Mexico. Okay. She is a Mexican citizen. So, at Carlos's interview, they are going to ask him about his wife. What is his name? Carlos Santos. What is his marital status? What is Carlos' marital status? What is Carlos' marital status? He is married. Okay, he is married. What is the date of his marriage? What is the date of his marriage? 02/14/1985. Remember, on the N400 application, the date is written as month, day, year. What is Maria's middle name? Elena. Okay. What is her last name? Gomez. Where is she from? Where is she from? Mexico. What is her nationality? Mexican. What is her country of nationality? Mexico. Okay, let's look at Carlos' interview. Carlos's interview. Okay. Carlos goes to his interview at the USCIS office. Okay. Carlos goes to his interview at the USCIS office. The USCIS officer asks him questions about the information on his application. Listen, when you fill out the N400 application, the officer will ask you questions from the information on the application. Okay? How does Carlos answer? Let's practice. I am the officer and you are Carlos. Okay? I am the officer and you are Carlos. Are you married or single? Are you married or single? Carlos, I'm married. Right. I'm married, right? What is his marital status? He is married. Okay. Next question. Next question. When did you get married? When did you get married? Okay. Carlos, we got married on, do you remember? When did you get married? We got married on February 14th, 1985. 02141985. Month, day, year. Month, February 02. Day, 14, 14. And year, 1985. Okay? Officer, what's your wife's first name? Okay? What's your wife's first name? Carlos, her first name is Maria. Her first name is Maria. What's her middle name? Officer, what's her middle name? Carlos, her middle name is Elena. Officer, what's her last name? What's her last name? Her last name, Carlos, her last name is Gomez. Gomez. Okay. Now, what is Carlos' last name? What is Carlos' last name? Santos. Santos. So, before Maria got married to Carlos, her last name was Gomez, okay? Before Maria got married to Carlos, her last name was Gomez, okay? Officer, what's her current address? Current address. Carlos, we live together at 503 Wilbert Drive, Dallas, Texas, 95 zip code 95423. Let's see. Zip code 95342. Excuse me. 506 Wilbert Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75342. Okay. 506 Wilbert Drive, Dallas, Texas, 95342. Okay. What officer? What's her date of birth? What's her date of birth? Carlos, she was born on, okay, she was born on April 7th, 1960. April 7th, 1960. Okay, so what's her date of birth? She was born on April 7th, 1960. Month, day, year. April 04. Day 707. Year 1960. 1960. Okay? 0407 1960. And what's her place of birth? What's her place of birth? Okay? Carlos, she was born in Mexico. She was born in Mexico. Officer, is Maria a U.S. citizen? Is Maria a U.S. citizen? Carlos, no. She is a Mexican citizen. She is a Mexican citizen. Now, I want you to answer these questions about your spouse, your husband or wife, okay? I will ask the question, I will be the officer, and I want you to practice answering the questions about your life, okay? Your life, okay? Officer, are you married or single? Okay? Are you married or single? What is your answer? I'm. When did you get married? When? We got married on. What's your wife's first name? What's your spouse's first name? Okay, husband or wife. What's your spouse's first name? Okay. His or her first name is. What's your spouse's middle name? What's your spouse's middle name? Okay. Her middle name or his middle name is. What's her last name? What's your spouse's last name? Her last name is, or her first name, his last name is, sorry. Okay. What's your spouse's current address? What's your spouse's current address? Answer, we live together at, okay, we live together at. Officer, what's your spouse's date of birth? Remember, date of birth, month, day, year. What's your spouse's date of birth? My spouse was born on, okay. What's your spouse's place of birth? What's your spouse's place of birth? Okay. My spouse's place of birth is, okay, my spouse was born in, okay, which country? And last, is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Yes or no? Okay. My spouse is a U.S. citizen. My spouse is not a U.S. citizen. Very good. So let's look at another example. Another example. Mrs. Tanaka and her husband. Mrs. Tanaka and her husband. Okay? Matching. Matching. Please read the story. Read the story and match. And match. Okay, let's see. I can make this smaller and then you can see all of the questions so that you can match the story. Okay. I am going to take myself off. Okay, so please read the story and match please read the story and match the numbers to the statements, okay? For example, let's do number 1. Okay, number 1. Mrs. Tanaka and her husband. Number 1. What's your husband's name? Okay. You can see number 1 marked there, Koji Tanaka. Okay. So please read the story and match the numbers with the answers, okay, to the questions. Okay? So I will give you 5 minutes. Please read the story and match the numbers to the answers, and we will go over it. Thank you. Okay, almost ready? Okay, let's go over it. So first, let's read the story. Mrs. Tanaka goes to her interview at USCIS. Okay, Mrs. Tanaka goes to her interview at USCIS. The USCIS officer asks her about her husband. Okay, the USCIS officer asks her about her husband. Read the questions and answers in each column. Read the questions and answers in each column. These are columns. When the numbers go down like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is a column. This is a second column. A second column. This one, okay, is the answers. These are the answers in this column, okay? This column is the questions, and this column is the answers, okay? So let's look at the first example. Number 1, what's your husband's name? Which one makes the most sense? Which one matches? Right, Koji Tanaka. Okay, number 2, what's his date of birth? What's his date of birth? Which one do you think? Date of birth. Right. Last one. He was born on August 6, 1949. He was born on August 6, 1949. Okay? Now, let's look at question number 3. Is he a U.S. citizen? Is he a U.S. citizen? No, he's not. No, he's not. Okay? Number 4. What's his current address? What's his current address? 9012 Ellison Street, Los Angeles, California. 9012 Ellison Street, Los Angeles, California. Okay. Number 5. When did you get married? When did you get married? We got married on May 1st, 1978. We got married on May 1st, 1978. Okay. Number 6. What's his country of nationality? What's his country of nationality? Japan. What are people from Japan called? Do you remember? What are people from Japan called? Japanese. Okay. People from Vietnam are called Vietnamese. People from Japan are called Japanese. People from China are called Chinese. Okay? People from Korea, South Korea, are called Korean. Very good. Okay. And the last question. What's his place of birth? What's his place of birth? He was born in Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo is the city, Japan is the country. Tokyo, Japan. Let's look at this. What is his current address? Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles is the city, California is the state. Okay. What's his place of birth? He was born in Tokyo, Japan. Very good. Okay, let's look at this last thing, family, marital status, and spouses, okay? I want you, for homework, I want you to ask your friends, okay? Ask your friends about their marital status, okay, and spouse. Let's look at the questions. What is your friend's name? What is your friend's marital status? Okay, are they married, single, divorced, widowed? Okay, what's their spouse's name? What's their husband's name? What's their wife's name? Okay, and where does their spouse live? Where does their husband or wife live? Okay, and then you can make your own question here. So this will be for homework. Okay, pick 2. You don't have to do 5, you can do 2. Pick 2 of your friends or classmates, okay, on the Facebook group, and ask them, what is their name? What is their marital status? What is their spouse's name? Where does their spouse live? And make your own question, okay? Okay, for example, let's look at Mrs. Tanaka. Her name is Mrs. Tanaka. But what is her marital status? She's married, okay? What's her spouse's name? His name is Koji Tanaka. Where does her spouse live? Where does her spouse live? He lives in Los Angeles, California, okay? He lives in Los Angeles, California. Let's make another question. What is his country of nationality? What is his country of nationality? It is Japan. Japan. Country of nationality, Japan. Okay? Very good. Okay, very good. Let's review N400 application, part 10, because this is what we are talking about. This is what we are talking about when we talk about your marital history, your spouse information, okay, husband and wife information, full name, first name, last name, middle name, okay. Let's just review what we learned last time, part 10 of the N400 application, information about your marital history, okay. Remember, number 1, what is your current marital status? What is your current marital status? Single, married, divorced, widow. If you are single and have never been married, okay, if you are single and have never married, go to part 11. Okay, so if you have never been married, you go to part 11. If you have been married or you are married right now, currently, you fill out part 10 N400 application. Okay? Number 2, if you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Yes or no? Check 1. Pick 1. Number 3, how many times have you been married, including annulled, which means canceled, marriages, and marriages to other people, and marriages to the same person, okay? So, How many times have you been married? 0, 1, 2, okay? Number 4, if you are married now, please provide the following information about your current spouse. Look at that. Current spouse's legal name. Number 4, current spouse legal name, A. Family name, last name, okay? Let's pretend this is Mrs. Tanaka, okay? Let's pretend this is Mrs. Tanaka. And we are talking about her husband. So we are filling information out about her husband. Current spouse legal name, family name, last name, Tanaka, T-A-N-A-K-A, okay? First name, Koji, K-O-J-I, okay? Middle name, we don't know, so we leave it blank. We don't know. It's okay. If you don't have a middle name, it's okay. Current spouse, previous legal name, letter B. If your current spouse has one name and no previous name from before, remember previous means before, leave it blank, okay? Do not fill it out. Letter C, other names used by current spouse. If your spouse only has one name, do not fill it out. You do not need to fill this out. Letter C, other names, leave it blank. Letter D, current spouse date of birth. When was Mr. Tanaka born? Okay, let's see. When was Mr. Tanaka born? Mr. Tanaka was born on August 6, 1949. Look at that. August 6, 1949. Remember, the date is shown as month, day, year. August 6, 1949. So you would write 08061949. And look, letter E, date you entered into marriage. When did you get married to Mr. Tanaka? Okay. Mr. Tanaka and you got married. You got married on May 1st, 1978. So that is May 1st, 1978 is written as 05011978. Okay? 05011978. Let's look at current spouse present home address. Look at that. Let's use Miss Tanaka's information about her spouse to look for his current present home address. Okay? We don't know the street number and name. That's okay. Let's pretend. 510 West Broadway. Okay? 510 street number and name. 510 West Broadway. Okay? City or town. We know this. We know this. Mr. Tanaka lives in Los Angeles, California. So the city is Los Angeles. County, Los Angeles. State, California. How do you abbreviate California? CA. Zip code, 90213. Okay? For example. Now remember, you do not have to fill out province or region, postal code, or country, because those are for foreign address only, meaning outside country, outside United States. Okay? Letter G, current spouse, current employer. Okay? So your husband or wife now, so Mr. Tanaka, his current employer or company. let's pretend he works for a restaurant, okay? So here you write current employer, Mickey's Restaurant, okay? Mickey's Restaurant, okay? Look at this. Number 5. Is your current spouse a U.S. citizen? No. Why? His country of nationality is Japan. He is not a U.S. citizen. But if you answer yes, answer number 6 below. Okay, so you're on number 5, so you will answer number 6. If you answer no, go to item number 7. So we said no. So do we go to 6 or 7 if we say no? Number 7. Good. So, number 7. If your current spouse is not a U.S. citizen, please complete the following information. Okay? So let's look at this. A. Current spouse, country of citizenship or nationality. Okay? Mr. Tanaka. Country of nationality or citizenship. Japan. Right. Good. Okay. Now, let's see. Current spouse, letter C. Current spouse, immigration status. Okay. Is he a lawful permanent resident? Is he a lawful permanent resident? Let's say yes. Okay. He is a lawful permanent resident. Okay. Alright, let's look at number 8. How many times has your current spouse been married? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many times have you been married? How many times has your current spouse been married? Okay. If your current spouse has had more than one previous marriage, provide the information on additional paper. Okay. So let's pretend that Mr. Tanaka has never been married before, only one time with Mrs. Tanaka. Okay. So if you have only married once and your spouse has only married once, you only have to fill it out once. Okay, you don't have to fill out previous. Okay. All right, that looks good. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we will practice civics flashcards. Okay, thank you, class. Okay, welcome back, class. I want to show you something, okay? I want to show you what the website looks like, okay? What the website looks like for USCIS, okay? In class, we study material, okay? We study things to pass the citizenship interview and the civics test, right? Now I want to show you where you can go for more help, extra practice, okay? I will post this link on Facebook group, okay? I will put this link on the Facebook group so you can see it and you can click on it and you can practice for your test, okay? So it looks like this, okay? You can see study materials for the civics test. Okay. Look, if you go down, okay, you can see civics questions and answers, okay? If you want to, you can look at the civics questions and answers for the naturalization test, okay, citizenship test, or you can practice flashcards, okay? Today we are going to practice with the flashcards, okay? There are 100 questions, okay? We are going to practice with the flashcards. Some of those questions, not all 100 today, okay? We save some questions for next time. Today, we are going to practice the civics flashcards for the naturalization test, okay? I will put this link, this website, onto Facebook so you can check it out and look for yourself, okay? For extra practice. Let's look at the civics flashcards for the naturalization test. Civics flashcards for the naturalization test, okay? Look, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. This is USCIS, okay? United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Okay, let's look. Let's see what this is about. Okay, let's see what this is about. USCIS Civics Flashcards. These civics flashcards will help you learn, okay, these civics flashcards will help you learn about U.S. history and government while preparing for the naturalization test. Naturalization, citizenship. Naturalization is citizenship for non-U.S. born citizens, okay? For example, I was born in the United States. I am a U.S. citizen by birth, okay? My country of birth is the United States, okay? My country of nationality is the United States. You want to become a U.S. citizen? You want to become a U.S. citizen? So you are taking the naturalization test to become a U.S. citizen, okay? These flashcards can also be used in the classroom as an instructional tool for citizenship preparation, okay? So today, class, we are going to use these flashcards to practice for citizenship preparation, okay? I want you to pay attention to this note though, okay? Because it does depend on when you take your test, okay? Let's look. On the naturalization test, okay, on the naturalization test, some answers may change. Okay. For example, who is the current United States president? Donald Trump. But if you take your test next year, okay, next year, it might be someone different. Maybe. Okay, may change. That answer may change if you take your test next year, because this year is an election year. So this year we vote. This year the United States citizens vote for the president, okay? They vote for the person they want to be the US president, okay? So right now, the current president is Donald Trump. But maybe it may change. It might, maybe, may change because of elections, okay, or appointments, okay? Applicants must be aware, they must pay attention, aware, pay attention to the most current answers to these questions. Applicants must answer these questions with the name of the official who is serving at the time of his or her eligibility interview with USCIS. Okay? Again, applicants must answer these questions with the name of the official who is serving at the time of his or her eligibility interview with USCIS. Okay? So make sure you answer correctly with the current person serving. Okay? Let's look at this note. USCIS Civics Flashcards. The 100 Civics History and Government questions and answers for the naturalization test are included, okay, they are included in these flashcards. The civics test is an oral test, and the USCIS officer will ask the applicant up to 10 of the 100 civics questions. Okay, so during the speaking test, the officer will ask the applicant up to 10 of the 100 civics questions. An applicant must answer 6 out of 10 questions correctly to pass the civics portion of the naturalization test. Okay, so the officer will ask you 10 questions. You must answer 6 correctly. You must answer 6 with the right answer. Okay. Although USCIS is aware that there may be additional correct answers to the 100 civics questions, applicants are encouraged to respond to the civics questions using the answers provided on these flashcards. So there might be many choices to answer the question, right? But you should answer how you see it on the flashcard, okay? Let's look at question number 1, for example. Question number 1. Question 1. What is the supreme law of the land? What is the supreme law of the land? Answer. The Constitution. Right, correct. Okay, correct. Now let me show you something. This is a flashcard, okay? A flashcard is a piece of paper that has information on the front, and the back, okay? This is back. Okay, so a flashcard has information on the front and information on the back. It helps you practice, okay, it helps you practice for tests. So we have question 1, what is the supreme law of the land? The question is on the front, the answer is on the back, because it wants you to practice saying the answer before you see the answer. Okay, so let's look at question number two. Excuse me. Let's look at question number 2. What does the Constitution do? What does the Constitution do? Do you know? This is the front with the question of the flashcard. What does the Constitution do? Answer: sets up the government. Remember in your chapter in the book of Citizenship, we looked at this. Chapter 4. What does the Constitution do? Remember? It sets up the government. It defines the government. It protects the basic rights of Americans. Okay, very good. So you can say any one of these answers. You can pick one. What does the Constitution do? Answer: pick one. Sets up the government, or defines the government, or protects basic rights of Americans. You do not have to say all three. You do not have to say all three. You only have to pick one. Okay? One. Sets up the government, or defines the government, or protects basic rights of Americans. Only pick one. Okay, let's look at number 3. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? We the people. Good. We the people. That's all you have to say. If an officer asks you, what are the first 3 words of the Constitution? All you have to say is, we the people. Answer: we the people. Okay? Let's look at question number 4. What is an amendment? What is an amendment? An amendment is a change to the Constitution. An amendment is a change to the Constitution, or an addition to the Constitution. An addition to the Constitution. Okay? So it is a change or an addition. Pick one answer. Okay? Not both. Question number 5. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? Correct, the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, okay? So if the officer asks you, what do we call the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, front of the flashcard, the answer is the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights. Okay? Let's look at question number 6. Question number 6. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? Yes, freedom of speech. Look at all of these. Look at all of these. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. Assembly means freedom to get together in groups, okay? Freedom of speech, okay? You are free to speak, you are free to talk. Freedom of religion, you are free to practice your religion. Christianity, Catholicism, Buddhism, Hinduism, okay? You are free to assemble. You are free to gather, okay, together in groups. Freedom of the press, okay, freedom of the press. The press is the newspaper, media, television, okay? We have the freedom to write or say what we want in newspaper and television from the media, okay? News on television, and freedom to petition the government. Freedom to petition the government. For example, we have the freedom to question the government, okay? We have the freedom to ask for the government to change something, okay? We have the freedom to ask the government to change something. So remember, when the officer asks you, if the officer asks you, what is one right or freedom from the First Amendment, you answer one, pick one, speech, religion, assembly, press, okay, pick one. Okay, let's look at question number 7. Question number 7. How many amendments does the Constitution have? How many amendments does the Constitution have? Amendments. 27. The answer on the back of the flashcard is 27. There are 27 amendments. "27 changes or additions." Okay? Let's look at question number 8. Wait. Look at this picture first. Do you recognize her? Do you know who that is? Do you recognize this woman? Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony. Advocate, support for the rights of women to vote. Yes. Susan B. Anthony, famous for working to help women vote. Question number 8. Question number 8. What did the Declaration of Independence do? What did the Declaration of Independence do? Remember from our book, announced our independence from Great Britain. Announced our independence from Great Britain. Declared, said, okay, our independence from Great Britain. Said that the United States is free. So, what question, okay, what did the Declaration of Independence do? It announced, okay, it said, it told us our independence, okay. It declared, made a statement, okay, our independence, or said that the United States is free. Pick one answer, okay. Let's look at question number 9. What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? Oh, look, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Remember, the officer will ask you pick 2. What are 2 rights? Okay, what are 2 rights of the Declaration in the Declaration of Independence? Question on front of flashcard, answer on back of flashcard. Pick 2. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Pick 2. Let's look at the last question for tonight. Question number 10. Question number 10. What is freedom of religion? What is freedom of religion? Okay, answer. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion. Okay, so what does freedom of religion mean? It means you can practice any religion or not practice a religion at all if you don't want to. It is your choice. Okay, your choice. Okay, that will be it for today, class. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Please comment and ask me any questions you have. Please, if you do not understand or you need to watch again, you can pause the video, okay? When you are watching the video, you can pause it and replay. You can watch it again. You can look again for understanding. You can pause to understand, okay? Ask a question, make a comment, okay? Thank you, class. Have a good night, and I will see you Thursday. Thank you.